Good morning, everyone. Thank you for watching the Julie Chan Show, where passion meets purpose. Today, I have a very special guest on, Kenan Briggs. He has done track and field for probably his whole life. He's going to tell us about how this has inspired his career and what he's doing now with passion and great purpose to bring athletics and inspiration to students, children, youth everywhere. Kenan, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Kenan, you have an incredible website. You have a YouTube channel where you inspire people and you talk about training for track and field, long jump, and mindset, really. So talk about how this all began for you. How old were you when you started?
Well, when I started playing sports, I literally think I grew up with a ball in my hand. But
At the womb.
yeah, and basically, I remember a distinct moment when I was 17, and I was just graduating and finishing up high school, and a voice came over me and said, "What do you want to do with your life?" And all at that time, all I really knew was sports. I did football and basketball, track during high school, and then moving forward, I ended up working for Family Fun Center at the time, or Boomers, like in Music Park in the LA area.
Yeah.
And this guy came in wearing a Bally's T-shirt, and I said that would be pretty cool to be a personal trainer because that falls into helping people. Fast forward, a guy from LA Fitness also came in, and he said, "I love your energy. Come help us do sales for LA Fitness for personal training." And I did that for a couple months and then ended up falling in love with the personal training aspect, got certified at 20 years old. And then, so that was my route where I got started with working with people, and the mindset and the physical pieces to getting to goals. And then fast forward, I ended up working with athletes specifically, and just fell in love with the impact that I had on the youth versus adults trying to reach fitness goals. It was so much broader when it came to the youth, and just love that whole process of it.
Right. And in working with the youth, I mean, sometimes they're there because their parents have forced them to be there. Sometimes they're trying it out, but they're afraid. I mean, you've got such a wide spectrum with youth, right? I'm sure very different from personal training clients who are paying you, who want to lose the pounds, who want to reach their goals, and who are very intent on that. But sometimes kids don't know that yet, which I'm sure is very inspiring. But when it's tough, how do you manage that?
Well, really, it's having the athletes and the young children define their destination. Most kids don't know where they want to go specifically. They have a broad spectrum of, I want to go that way. But when I know as a coach exactly where they're going, then I can utilize what I've learned, what I've done to help support them as a roadmap to start with. It may or may not work. However, it's a destination forward and a plan going forward, and we can always make the adjustments on the road, like GPS. The destination is always going to stay the same, just the route may change. However, it's always in favor of where you're going. And so what I do is I create that roadmap for the athletes by getting to know who they are as a person. And if they don't know yet, then we sit down and define what that person is, and we try with that, and we go from there. So it's a lot about building the confidence, and helping them understand, if there's food in the refrigerator and you're hungry, right? You go to the refrigerator and you eat. If you don't see any food there, then what's next? You literally go get food because you're hungry. You still have to have the outcome. And it's helping them understand that concept of it. And it's been really fun getting to the end result with these athletes. And a lot of them define as they go on the process, and it gets more detailed. And then that's where the athletes from Leap Squad have gone so far, with being ranked in the world, ranked in the US, regional, state ranked. Even though when they first showed up, they said, "I want to get in shape," was their first destination. But now it led to, now I can negotiate a full scholarship. So that's an amazing piece.
So they start with you when they want to be on your club team, or when they just want some consultation. How does that begin? Like, what are parents looking for that they'll find you?
98% of the athletes are looking for speed training, or their kids want to get in shape. The parents say their coach for whatever sport says they're not fast, and then they come and find me. Then they realize it's not about the speed. It's that the kids don't have a plan. They don't know how to run. They don't know what they're doing, or they're doing 3 or 4 different sports at one time, and the kids is just tired. Not that they're not fast, is that they're just tired. Or the coach is putting the focus on the number 1 athlete versus the number 9 athlete. And so the parents basically ask for speed training. And then when they come to me, they realize, oh, it's a lot more. And so when they do find me, they realize that there's so many different elements to it. Mm-hmm. But once they do find me, they realize, oh, okay, this is what we need. And so that's the services that I offer is, educating them on just the game plan and how to get there. Basically the how. I specialize in the how to run faster. What's your mentality like? How do you think leading up to a big event or a big sports event? How do you navigate your mentality after a huge loss? Those things are really important because it really sets the imprint and the foundation of how people and athletes react to situations. When it's not a reaction, it's about the response. How am I going to respond to this and move forward? It's that cognitive thought process, which is really important.
It sounds also like it's a lot about psychology. And I think we've been learning this over the years, but, especially when kids are young, it's just go out there and practice, go practice, go practice. And it's like we've trained ourselves and our kids to believe it's just going and doing. And you're saying you got to sit down and have a plan and be focused in your mind and not let the tough times get you down, but to almost stay in your head in some ways about like just being clear about your focus.
Yes, 100%. They have this misconception about team sports and then individual sports like golf and, track and field. The difference between the sports from my perspective is it's you and what you do and the way you think is the result. So I might be, the negative Nancy on a basketball team and just be the backup because I'm not starting because they started doing really well and we still win the team championship. But then when I'm the only player on the runway or on my lane or on behind that golf club and I'm not thinking correctly, I'm going to yield those results. So it's not the individual sports particularly, it's that it's highlighting your individual thought process. So if you had a team full of independent, positive, optimistic athletes, you're going to yield a different type of result than a team of negative Nancy's.
Now, what about when high school students, don't understand your way of thinking and your system and the psychology behind it? Right? Because sometimes they're not very open to this. They believe like it's all in the practice and it's all in the getting out there and doing it. And this is all hogwash. How do you break through that?
I meet them where they are. I let them do whatever they feel is best. And the rest of the team who's bought onto that, they do their thing. One story was Taylor Ashmore. Her freshman year, she joined the modern day track team where I was coaching. And won league for the JV girls. So she already was like, I showed up, I didn't do much training with you, I did my own thing, I won. And I was like, great job. The next year, she's like, I'm going to continue doing what I do. I said, okay. So then everyone else that was on the page with me kept doing their thing. She didn't improve at all that next year. And the girls that were developing with me actually surpassed her. So then she realized, okay, I tried my way. Let me try the next way. So then her junior year, she improved 1.5 feet in the long jump, which is huge for the long jump. And then the next year after that was 1 inch shy of breaking the school record. And then she went off to college and ran on scholarship. So just that is basically I let them do what they do. I'm confident in my teaching and my methods and my planning. It's been proven. And each year I assess it to make sure that it's still progressing with the age and go from there. So I'm at a point now where it's like you join, you try it, it doesn't work, we try again. Just allow me the freedom to get to know you, to try whatever way of my program fits best with you and your personality type.
Right.
So
And
there's
it's
no right answer.
well, it also sounds like it's about a connection and it's about building trust between you as a coach and that athlete to get to their goals and you understanding what those goals are and how they tick.
100%.
And so when you are training them, is it more of, a Zoom consultation at first, or is it getting together and actually training and having conversations while training? What does it look like?
There's several ways. So the first way, when it comes to my athletes that are international and not in my vicinity, I have a child, Jordan Neely. He's in Canada. Never seen him once ever in person. However, I've been with him for 5 years, and he's improved dramatically over his tenure with me. And that really came down to send me a video so I can see how you move, how you operate. Then I just simply talk to them and ask them, what are you about? What's your destination? What are you doing? And if they say, I want to go pro, or if they say, I'm just doing it for fun, then I speak from that space. If it's pro, all right, there's no gray area. You do this and you move forward. If you don't do it, got it. But then when it comes to the athletes in person, is every single year I get to know what they're about and where they're going. So we write a long essay about what they want, what their season looks like. I call it the entree goal. So basically the appetizer is a bullet point idea of like what they're looking for. And then the entree is in detail. Write everything out so I know specifically where I can vision it in my mind to see what you're doing. And then dessert is anything they can dream of. There's no boundaries, anything. I've had athletes that wrote down this whole list, 5-page, 4-page essay of what they would like to happen in their career or this for the year. And it literally be to a T. I've had one athlete literally write her whole story. She wrote it in September and it happened at the end of the year, down to how she opened up season, the school she went to, all those in detail. And it's really important that our words are so powerful. And if in our head, the words are the ones saying it, we got to remove those thoughts and replace it with other thoughts. And that comes from me getting to know who they are as a person and their tendencies and pretty much checking in with that person. Yeah. So it's a mixture of both, phone call or in person. It's that.
So it's really so much more than just training for a season or for a win or for a medal or for a trophy. It's about training for life, it sounds like. And you really are teaching these young people to set their intention, write it down, believe it, and watch it come true.
Literally.
100%. How did you come to figure out that this works? I mean, did you practice this as a teenager yourself?
Yes. So as a teenager, I was always told how I would be. So, I'd show up to a sports event or a team and they'd say, wow, you're really good. Then I said, yes, I am. Thank you. And then I performed really good. And then I got to high school and coach, you're going to be one of the best in the state. I said, yes, I am. And I became one of the best in the state. Got to college, same response. You're going to break all the records. I said, yes. I just accepted everything that people told me. And I won everything. I broke the school records. I was ranked in the state. Got to, the college level. I had a college coach who got me to the university level on scholarship at Cal State LA, Chris Asher. He said, you're expected to be at national for 2 events. And I said, okay. And I just accepted it. But then once I finished college, I looked around and I said, who's going to tell me what to do next? I didn't have anyone. And so I said, oh, I got to tell myself. So then I said, I get to make nationals as a pro. And that year I trained my butt off. I accepted every single thing that happened in my journey. So whenever I was tired and, on my hands and knees, I couldn't move from my training, I would always use the mantra, this is what it feels like. because it's true. If I didn't want to do it, I could just change what I'm doing. So I said, this is what it feels like. So I just sucked it up and did it every single day. 4 to 5 hours of training per day. I trained by myself, and I made it happen, you know? And
That takes
then
a lot of willpower,
a
right?
lot. Yeah.
When you're tired and you're exhausted and you're in pain, and like you just said, you could have just stopped. Nothing was forcing you to be there.
Yep. Yeah. So the 2 books that stood out, because I asked for how to be successful in 2010 when I got back from New Jersey. I was living out there for a job that didn't pan out. Came back, and I literally had like $7 to my name because I gave everything up to move to New Jersey. And across the street, there was a library, and they had a book stand outside for 25 cents each book. I got the Dr. Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and Garfield, Peak Performance. And so those 2 books, what I took from it then was subconscious mind can be programmed. So I tell it what to think and what to do. And it's going to respond like a child. So it's going to throw fits and tantrums and all those things. I just pamper it and tell it, no, we're going to go over here and we're going to do this. So that really established my willpower, because whenever I felt like I couldn't do it, to me, it was a child. And I said, it's okay, let's go. And that's how I treated my subconscious mind the whole time. The other book, Peak Performance, was about writing down your goals. So I wrote down 4 distinct goals in 2010, and I literally manifested each goal. And they were unique goals to where there's no way they could have happened without this being 100% me. And I made USA Championships. I got the dollar amount that I wanted for my job. My job bought me a car, and I had the girlfriend relationship that I wanted. Everything was to a T. And the next year I did the same exact thing. I was ranked in the world. I was 6th in the US. Like, all these things happened. And then the next year after that, I decided I wanted a free Range Rover. Who does that? Who wants a free Range Rover of their dreams, the exact one? And I was able to manifest that exact car. The exact car.
How did that come to be? How did that manifest? It just showed up at your porch?
100%. Like, the story is, I wanted it, told myself that's the next car that I was going to buy. My friends invited me to car shows. My friends invited me to all these random things that I had never gone to. I just always said yes to it. Just yes, yes. You know, I went to the car show. I took pictures with the car. I printed it out. I slept next to the actual images of a gold medal and the car. Went to sleep. I did that for about 6 months. Then I really focused the last month because the car that I had was breaking down. And my mom said, hey, I met some broker 6 months ago, or, a month and a half ago. And I told him about what you do with kids, and he buys and sells cars. And I was like, well, I don't have any money to buy the car, and she was like, no, he wants to give you a free one. And so I drove to LA. I get to Wendy's, of all places. And they're talking, and he tossed me the key. He's like, hey, if you like it, you can have it. And it's the exact car, make, model, exterior, interior, rim size, everything that I had put down on paper. And so it's all possible. So every single goal that I have, I pass that on to the kids and say, you have to be in the space of you think it, and then it's done. And you live in that space if it's already done, and watch how things play out.
So that's so much easier said than done, especially for a teenager, I would think. I'm just thinking of my own 16-year-old, and she'd be like, yeah, whatever. And I think that's also part of the problem, right? When you live in that negative space of that's impossible. Yep. So how do you get out of that? And once you write down the goals, do you look at them every day? Do you rewrite them every day? What do you do?
So I have a program within my club team where every Monday we have a motivational Monday. So the process is, initially they're going to say, yeah, right. But they can't argue when there's already results done. There has been someone that has reached your success. There has been a kid that just wanted to go to college and got to college on a full scholarship. So the fact that it has happened before, for the teenagers, they want to see proof. So I show them the proof. And then the other part is it's a maintenance program. Most of my athletes have been with me for upwards of 4 to 5 to 6 years. So being with me for multiple years, twice a week, all year round. Some athletes aren't, but they're still in contact communication with me. It starts to wear on their mentality of the hater, and it brings in well, it's possible. So those conversations really kind of chip away. The other part is when you're training and you feel stronger, that feeling surpasses everything because it all comes down to the feeling. If you feel good, you're in a great place. And if you're setting goals of, I want to smile twice today, it's an easy goal, easy. But if you write that down and you check it off every day and you smile twice every day, and after 21 days or however the habit protocol is, you now know I can easily smile. I did it. I did it for the last 6 months. Well, now you have a level of confidence that's different than before. Now it's let me try to have a faster fastball, or let me try to, touch the rim or dunk. And then all of a sudden it starts to snowball effect into that process. And the psyche of a teenager is they're brand new to all these concepts, and they have a belief system, but they don't have concrete proof yet. And so I actually pull them out of that and say, prove it to me that what you're thinking is correct. And when they can't, it earns trust, because now it's like, okay, well, here's what we've been doing. Come try this. And it slowly evolves into that.
That is beautiful. Truly incredible. So as a team, do you set the goals and the intention of what your club team will accomplish in a year? And do you get your students to get on board with that vision?
100% no. Every single year, it's a whole different team, because I don't give them my vision, because my expectations of them could be completely wrong. I could see a short jumper and say, oh, well, you're not tall enough. That's my reality. What if that person could be the shortest, best jumper ever in the world? I have no idea. So I can never say be realistic. I tell them all the time, stop trying to be realistic, because realistic means someone already did it.
Yeah. So as a coach, you sit with all of them and you let them each set their own intention and come together to see what they will create as a team.
Yes.
And do you also mentor coaches?
100%. Funny thing is, my assistant now, Art Hinojosa, was my athlete back in 2013. He graduated 2013. He was an athlete that wrote down, I want to go to college for track. And I said, okay, you got it. So let's train for it. At the time, he was jumping JV marks, so he wasn't anywhere near college marks. Fast forward, he improved 6 feet to make it to the college level marks. Went to college to LeBron University, graduated, and came back, and now he's my assistant with me. And so like these are stories that happen. I have so many of these stories, but he utilizes that concept of the goal setting, just being, and he told me, he's like, I came back here because I just know being around you, it's going to yield success. He's like, I came back here to offer my time and support, and then Modern Day hired him in as a position. And now he's the jump coach at Modern Day. So a lot of opportunities have opened up just being not by my side, but utilizing some of the things that I did and saying, well, I saw you be successful. Let me try what you're doing and see what happens. It's all about trial and error. And in the error isn't really error, it's just feedback and just going from there and enjoying the process. So I do offer coaching for coaches. I have many workshops that I have that basically it's, if you're a new coach, here are the 10 steps to be successful. And also educating parents who are essentially the managers of the athletes, because parents don't know when they have an athlete child, they now have unofficially signed up to be the manager. And so now these athlete injuries that are happening, you have adult injuries happening for youth kids. And the question is why? Well, the answer is because the parents are giving the athlete professional training and the athlete's body isn't ready for it yet. So it's actually the parents that are indirectly injuring the athletes. So now it's educating the parent on how the calendar looks each year, because you literally have a child who is physically different each year. Physically,
Oh, wow. Right. Each year of their growth cycle.
Yeah.
I've also heard that there was a reason why there's a sport for every season, and that athletes should try, especially at a young age, should try the different sports as opposed to playing softball or baseball year round and really exhausting that arm or that repetitive motion, whether it's pitching or catching or, hitting the ball. What are your beliefs on that?
Yeah, 100%. Just like when you use the same thing over and over again, you're going to hit your 10,000 hours, right? And if you're using it, if it gets your 10,000 hours off of incorrect motions, you're professional in that movement. And if the movement is incorrect, you're professional as in you've injured the muscle or the ligament or the tendon. So it's important to train everything. So even if you're decided, you know what, softball is my thing, great, do softball. Do you have to play softball the whole year? Could you do 3 seasons of one, put the ball down, put the bat down, and just get your physical body in shape? Work on your motor skills, utilize your new body because it's different than last year because you're taller, stronger, faster. Your physiological body has changed, and then do the next 9 months of your sport. That's a possibility, but yet what I see, especially with baseball, because I do work with baseball athletes too, is they need more game time. They need to play more, right? So now they have them on 2 club teams. One club team says you can only pitch 3 innings. Perfect. Keep the arm rested. But the parent manager puts them on another team. Now they're on 2 teams. Now instead of 3 innings, it's 6. Also, we got to work on your curveball because it's not dropping how it needs to drop. Now we hire a throwing coach. Now we have the throwing, all those stuff for the hour, and that adds up. So now you're looking at so many pitches for the week. Divide that up and add it up, multiply that for the year. Now you have an athlete who is 2,000 pitches over their quota for the year. And then that rolls into they can't recover because they never had time to rest because they're going year round. Yeah. And that just keeps going. So, and now 10,000 hours is now they're 16, 17 years old and they're facing an adult injury. So it's how do we adjust that?
So do you think it's too young at 8 or 9 years old to be doing any club sport like club soccer or club track and field?
No, I don't think so. I think it's important that the parent, aka manager, interviews the club. The clubs hold the tryouts and they're hoping to make a team. It's actually the other way around. It's are you going to offer my son or daughter? And how are we going to keep them focused on development, understanding it's just a game to play? And to be honest, even if you do go pro, you're done at 30. You have 70 more years of life to live. Who are you parallel to being that athlete? And if those life skills aren't being taught, as a parent, I would just say, well, why is that included into the training? It's not that it needs to be. It's just a fair question. It's not about the wins or losses. It's about what you learned from it. And the big part is, okay, you worked hard, you trained, and you won. You worked hard, you trained, and you lost. It's just feedback. At the end of the day, is you did your best, right? Great. Take your best into everything in life and see what happens out of that.
Take your best into everything in life and see what happens. And setting your goals and your intention, writing it down, right? Whether it's what you're going to get done today, what assignments you're going to accomplish for the week, the month, the year, and what you're going to accomplish in your sports.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Hearing you say it is good.
Writing it down, saying it and believing it. But what an incredible coach you are to understand that vision and that goal setting and the positivity, right? Because that's so important that you have that support and that relationship and the positive feedback between athlete and coach to have that trust and those dynamics play such a huge role in developing student athletes and all
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge role. And it comes down to, again, like the parent having his or her own plan or agenda, the athlete having his or her own, and then two parties sitting down together and creating one. And then when you bring a coach in, you also have another meeting with that.
Kenan Briggs, so great to be with you today. You are so inspirational. Love your website. Love all that you're doing. You have your club track and field team, and you will consult with anybody. I can't wait to get my 3 girls in to meet you. Anybody who's interested, KeinanBriggs.com. And I also love your YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining the Julie Chan Show, where passion meets purpose. If you know somebody lighting up their passion with great purpose in life, reach out to me, the Julie Chan Show at gmail.com. And I would love to interview these passionate people in the world.